prepare questions, but it is not available in the YouTube. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, sir. But it is not available in YouTube, sir.
Not YouTube.
Sir, I have
it is an
prepared
article
some
in
questions
Education World magazine. It's not on YouTube.
Sir, I have prepared some questions,
Yeah.
sir.
On which
scanning
passage?
and skimming.
On which passage?
That one, sir, you have given zoo, a small boy,
The
children
pet
are
day disaster.
that one, sir.
Yeah. The pet day disaster, right?
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Do you want me to read out, sir?
No, wait. Today I'm going to talk about another topic. I'm supposed to handle two different topics. One is reading and the other one is classroom-based research.
Okay.
So today I'm going to talk about doing classroom research. Is that fine, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, because
Perfect,
I thought,
perfect.
yes, I thought you need some time to read the passage and then frame questions. So today, I don't know how many of you are ready to share your questions. Are you all, have you read the passage? I mean, Krishna Kumar's article, was it opening?
No, that was the issue, sir. Yeah,
No, sir.
that was not available.
We used
No
the link,
worries.
but it didn't.
Okay, no worries.
No, sir,
What
it was
I'll
not.
do is, okay, 1 second. Yeah, just give me 1 second. I'll check the article once more. If that is not opening, then I have to share some other article. Okay. Reading, okay. 1 second. Just give me 1 second. I'll check. So what comes to your mind when I say research? Can you just use the chat box? Please use the chat box and tell me what flashes your mind when you hear the word research. What do you think of when you get to hear this word research? You can use the chat box. Yes. What is research? How do we go about doing research? Who does research? Where do we do research? So what comes to your mind? Let's brainstorm. Okay, refining what has been existing. Okay, inquiry. It's an inquiry-based approach. Finding something. Okay, find the problem and solution. Okay, study, collection, interpretation. Finding facts. Research means finding a solution. Deep analysis. Okay, intensive. Go through a specific topic intensively. Good. Investigate. Invent something in a systematic way. Oh, excellent. Very good. Collection of data to clarify. All right. Studying things scientifically. Studying thoroughly. Okay. Trying new things. Going for further analysis to bring out the best result. Okay. 1 second. Yeah. Right. Trying to innovate. Okay, good. Exploring something. Excellent. Exploring, trying to innovate, improvising. Okay. To find the root causes. Okay, good. Finding new methods. Okay, good. Excellent. I think all these ideas, concepts are related to research. I especially like words such as doing something systematically, scientifically, innovating, experimenting. All right. Research involves data collection, for example, exploring, collecting data, finding facts, and then inventing something new. All right. Finding solutions to problems. So it requires deep analysis. Okay, good, very good. Knowing something better. Right? Excellent. All right. Now, when I say classroom research, what comes to your mind? What kind of classroom-based research can we think of? All right, this applies to research in general, like doing something systematically, scientifically, excellent. Now, what is classroom-based research? What comes to your mind when I say classroom-based research? So who does the classroom-based research? Where do we do this research? How do we do?
Sir, can I speak?
Yeah, yes.
While teaching in our class, we will come across some sort of problems in teaching. So, based on the problems or the betterment of the activities or the items that are given in the textbook, we can do a research on that, and we can find solutions for some problems that some teachers are facing. That is action research.
Yeah, very good, very good. That is action research. Finding solutions to classroom problems is action research. Good. Next, please. Anyone else?
There could be some slow learners. We have to identify them and find actual problem. Then slowly we have to concentrate more on that particular student.
Could be. Yeah, you could do classroom-based research on slow learners. Try to understand their problems. And
To change your teaching methodologies, sir. To change your teaching methodologies.
So you do classroom-based research to change yourself, to change your methodology of teaching. All right, good. Then
find find remedies for classroom challenges.
We can conduct action research.
Good.
Sir. Action research.
The teacher try to understand the
finding remedies for classroom challenges. That is action research. Yeah.
The teacher try to understand his evaluation, sir.
Understand your evaluation practices better. Understand your own methodology, your evaluation system. Good. Anything else?
Child-centered teaching.
To change a teacher's methodology, sir.
Yeah. Yes,
it is easy to change depending upon the student.
Right. Yes.
Trying to find out some original activities for both teaching and learning improvisation, sir.
Oh, very good. Research to done for improving both teaching and learning. That is classroom-based research. Good, good.
Yes, sir.
The purpose is to improve the teaching learning process. Very good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So to organize some instructional activities, especially for the backward, sir.
Okay, that's right. Identifying the best. Right. You can mute your microphone now. Yeah, that's right. Good.
You are now muted.
To improve, I like that response. Somebody said to improve not only teaching, but more importantly, learning. To improve students' learning, you have to do classroom-based research. Right? Good. And also to understand yourselves better, your own classroom practices, your evaluation practices, the kind of materials you use, what techniques you adopt in the classroom, how do you address individual needs? I mean, to understand your classroom better. All right. So research rooted in the classroom helps you to understand your classroom scenario better. Right. You will understand your students better. You will understand your textbooks better. You'll understand yourself better when you play the role of a researcher. So this training should help all of you not only to be a better teacher, but also to be a researcher in the classroom. You should develop a research perspective. All right. What are the qualities of a good researcher? What are some of the skills, research skills you have to acquire? All right. So this training should help you to update yourselves as far as research is concerned. So what are some of the research skills you need to acquire to do classroom-based research study? What research skills do you think you have to learn? You have to apply in your classroom? Observation. Key.
Collection of data,
First of all, we have to learn the
necessities of children.
active listening, sir.
Yeah. Analysis. Right. Analysis.
And
first of all, data collection. You should know how to collect data. What constitutes data? You should know what constitutes data. There are two types of data. What are the two types of data?
Find the questions, sir.
And we should be a keen observer, sir.
Yes, right. Very good. Yeah. So you can mute your microphone. Yes. You should know what is data, how to collect data, and then how to analyze this data. There are two types of data actually, qualitative data and quantitative data. So what is qualitative data and what is quantitative data? You should be able to distinguish and then analyze these data qualitatively quantitatively, right? And then maybe share your findings. There's also skill how to share your findings, results, how to make recommendations, how to write a research report. You should learn how to write, doing research, but not being able to share it with the larger audience is not of much use, right? So you should be able to write it and share it with others. Maybe publish your research report in some magazines or journals, right? Good. So, and somebody said questions. You should know how to frame research questions. That's the most important thing. If your research questions are not appropriate, then the whole research will be a waste. So you should identify a genuine research topic, frame research questions, and accordingly, you should collect data. Right? Yes. And you should also be able to collect some information from different sources. Like somebody is talking about primary and secondary sources or something. That's called literature review. In academic research, we call it literature review. Reviewing the research studies that have already been done. If you're looking at slow learners, for example, you should read a few research reports on slow learners. What research studies have they done? What are their findings? And you shouldn't be repeating the same kind of study, right? You can take up the same topic, but the context will be different, right? You'll be dealing with the slow learners you face in your classrooms. So topic could be the same, but research questions will be different. The data you collect will be different, and your findings will also be different, right? Yeah. So these are some research skills you have to acquire to be a true researcher in your classroom. I think teachers who play the role of researchers will be able to solve many of their classroom problems. If you're just teaching, then you will end up facing a lot of challenges in the classroom. And you should know how to face these challenges, how to set them right? How to find remedies, how differently you can teach. So research will give you a lot of insights. What else can be done? How differently can I teach? What is the impact of my teaching on my students? You'll be able to observe them keenly, reflect on what's happening in your classroom, and try to improvise, bring a lot of changes in your classrooms. I think that's the idea of doing classroom-based research. It's not for getting a degree, getting an award, or it's not for making publications, right? Classroom-based research is mainly done to improve your own teaching and your students' learning. That is a primary purpose of doing research in the classroom. Okay, now let me share a few points related to this. So these are the objectives of my session. You will understand the importance of doing classroom-based research. And you will also be able to identify some classroom issues. Just give me 1 second. Yes.
Sir.
Okay.
Make it zoom, sir, please.
Okay. You can zoom it from your side, actually.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Can I read it?
This incident took place a year ago. I was engaging English class in 8th standard. It was the fine morning of Monday. Suddenly, my headmaster entered the class accompanied by an education officer. He introduced me to the officer as the new English teacher. After asking me about my teaching style and the syllabus, the officer started interacting with the students. He asked them about the last English lesson I taught. A few of them said the title and others probably have forgotten it. He took my textbook, opened the said lesson, and started asking questions.
Okay, good, very good. So what do you think happens next? All right, so I'll show you the next part of the incident, but what do you think happened next? Can you guess?
So it depends upon the answers given by the students.
Okay, right.
The education officer might have got an idea about what teaching method she might have employed.
Right. Yes. Someone else can unmute and speak. Right. Others. What do you think happened next? The officer came and then started interacting with the students, opened the textbook, started asking questions. Yes. Then.
So when the teacher asked, the educational officer, when he or she asked questions, probably English medium students might answer properly. If it's a native medium class, then the students might have not answered properly.
Okay. Right. Then, yeah. So, how do you think the officer reacted? Right. Yeah. Next, please. No, Srinivas, I think your audio has some problem. It's not audible, Mr. Srinivas.
Okay, sir.
You can speak now, Srinivas or Bhagyashree.
Teacher asking about the teaching method, sir. Why they are not doing like
Right.
asking about that education department, sir.
Okay. Then, Prabha.
We might have understood the learning outcomes of the children, sir.
Okay. Right. Next. Anuradha.
Based on the answers given by the children, he could feel happy if they could answer well. If not, he could have cross-questioned the teacher.
Okay.
What is the problem with this one?
Right. Gangadhar.
Sir, the officer may ask the initial activities, especially organized for the slow learners, sir.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Next, please. Abdul Raja or Ramesh.
May give instructions to teachers.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Right. Let's look at the next part. Yeah. This is the next part. Okay. Can somebody read it out? One of you can unmute and read out.
I was confident that my students will answer his questions as I had discussed it in the class and had conducted a test too. But a cruel surprise was waiting for me because very few were able to answer his questions, that too with a lot of struggle. The officer stared at me and asked, "What do you do in the class? None of your students is able to answer simple questions from the lesson you have already taught." All my efforts to convince him about my serious efforts in the class went in vain. It was really an embarrassing moment for me. I felt very bad on that day.
Right. So does it happen? Do you also have such experiences? Officers come, observe classrooms, interact with students, and then...
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right.
Not
Yes.
that real, sir.
Yes, right. So this is not a
No, sir, not at all.
This is a real incident that happened actually in a classroom, and this is exactly what a teacher narrated in a training session, right? Yeah. So, what was he or she a committed teacher? Was she hardworking, committed, or what do you think about the teacher?
Yes, she's committed, sir.
How do you know? How do you know?
I mean, she kept a test the before week and she asked many questions and she know how they can do. But she said it was an embarrassing moment for her.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yes. And then see, so for example, she says, tell me, sir. Yes. She says a cruel surprise, for example. She didn't expect this. Very few were able to answer his question. That was a bitter surprise. Totally unexpected. All right. And then she was confident. See, I was confident that my students would be able to answer. So the teacher was confident. The teacher had prepared them by conducting tests and all that. But then, yeah. So what do you think about the whole thing? What is your reaction to this incident? This is a real incident. No. What do you think about it? If you were in the teacher's place, what would would you do, or what is your reaction in general? Yeah, Adam.
Behavioral changes of teachers.
What?
The teachers' behavioral changes.
What behavioral change? What about it? Tell me.
When an officer enter into the classroom unexpectedly, yeah, then his body language will be changed, sir.
Okay. So that's why students were not comfortable. Students were hesitant to answer.
Yeah, a little bit of hesitation, sir.
Because of fear of officer, they might have not answered the question.
Fear.
They know also, sir.
Okay.
And the officer, he may give suggestions in personal. By calling the teacher to the staff room, there he can sit and ask some questions and counsel them, and he can suggest them or guide them.
Yeah. No, in any case, the officer didn't shout at the teacher. The officer was not angry or upset. All right. He just said, I mean, what did he say? He said, not able to, he didn't actually take the teacher to task. We don't know much about that, but teacher felt very bad. Yes, that's right.
The students are keenly observing their teacher, and they are very fond of them. If anybody simply they hurt, or they may say some rude words, they may feel bad, and it will make them to suffer a lot, sir.
Right. Next, anyone else? Any other reactions, responses? Why do you think, for example, students were not able to answer? What went wrong? Situation might be
made by the officer. Teacher should take it in a positive way and change the necessary steps should be taken to change his own methodology.
Good, that's right. Yes, very good. Then anything else? Anybody?
I think, sir, teacher hasn't taught to the mentality of the students.
Okay, right. Next, please.
And by this, the teacher can introspect. Teacher can introspect themselves, what to do to make their children to feel comfort with the teacher as well as the stranger.
Good, very good. Yes. Next, anyone else? Krishna Rao. Okay. Okay. Good. All right. Yes. Good. Very good. Thank you. Next, please. Kalaivani or Gigi or Hemaraju. Yes, please.
The teacher will try to research what happened.
Right. Good. Very good point. Let me continue. Now, please don't share some of these slides in the WhatsApp group. These are all classroom-based research related to some teachers actually. So I don't want any of you to share these slides in the WhatsApp group, please. Right? You can take a screenshot, but keep it for yourself. If anybody asks, you send it to their personal number, please, not in the group. Okay. Let me continue. All right. So,
yes, sir.
There's so many such things happen actually. If I can give you I can quote a number of such incidents. For example, here is another incident. Another teacher said, for example, 3 of my students always come late to class. They come late because of different reasons. Child 1, for example, Fatima, comes to school on foot. She has to attend madrasa classes before reaching school. She's very brilliant in academic activities. Her mother has 5 children and she's a 4th child. Nobody is there in her house to take care of her academic needs. And the same teacher goes on saying, child 2, Nikhil, has a problem with his mode of commuting to school. Recently, his parents have changed their house to a distant place. Nikhil is not interested in academic activities, but he's good at co-curricular works. And then the third one is child 3, Amrita, is a silent girl. She comes from a coastal area, a distant place from my school. her auto driver is very irresponsible, and because of him, she cannot reach school in time. She's good at co-curricular activity. So look at that. These are separate incidents. Like why students, the theme is students coming late to class, and the teacher takes it seriously. She wants to do something about it. And then she knows coming late to school is affecting their studies. So the teacher says, while checking their notebooks and portfolios, I realized they're incomplete. Fatima and Amrita are interested in academics, but their late coming is affecting their studies. They try to copy from others, but they miss many activities. In Nikhil's case, he's a slow learner and he writes nothing systematically. See, this is affecting their studies. They're losing out many things. Their notebooks are incomplete, portfolios are incomplete, right? Though they are interested in academics, they're not able to cope up. So teacher has to do something about it, all right? Not put the blame on the auto driver, not put the blame on the parents for sending them to madrasa and all that. Even in the earlier incident, right? Yeah. So we don't know why students were not able to answer the questions. And some of you said, maybe it is teacher has not prepared them, teacher has not taught them to their mental ability, right? Your teacher should do this. Some of you made some suggestion, teacher should do this, should do that. That is okay, but we don't know the context, right? We're not a part of the situation. We can only empathize with them, but we cannot really, we're not in a position to make any recommendations just by reading about these incidents, right? You need to understand the situation better. And that is called, see, professional development. If you look at this diagram, okay, I'm going to show you this diagram now. This is called professional development cycle. And this is how all of us learn actually, learn, grow, and develop. This is a professional learning cycle. There are 4 stages. Which one is the first stage you think? What's the first stage in your professional development cycle? And what is the second stage, third, and then fourth stage? Can you tell, number them? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 stages in this cycle. Can anybody tell them in a sequence? Yeah, anyone? What stage?
Active, concrete, abstract, and reflect.
Active,
concrete, abstract, and reflective.
Not really.
Concrete.
Somebody else.
Concrete,
Experience.
active,
Concrete.
abstract. Concrete, active, abstract, and reflective.
No, not really.
Concrete experience, reflective, abstract, active.
Very good. One more. Can you try?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Good. Yeah. Next, one more. What are the different stages? Yes, Srinivas.
So concrete, active experimentation, reflective observation, and abstract conception.
No.
Concrete experience, reflective observation, abstract conception, and active experimentation.
Correct. That's right. You're right.
Active, concrete, reflective, abstract.
No, not active, concrete. Okay, let me explain. Yes. So it is actually, as 2 of you rightly said, it begins with a concrete experience. Professional learning, all right, begins with an experience. You experience something happens, you do something, all right, and you get a reaction to it, right? Like stimulus and response. So doing something and then having an experience of it. You do an activity, you conduct an activity in the classroom, then you know whether it is successful or not, how students participate. That's an experience. So something happens in the class, like students come late. So that is your first-hand experience. You see it yourself, right? Or officer visits the school, interacts with students, and then he finds that they're not able to read the passages. That's an experience. And then what you do is you reflect on it. Second stage is reflective observation. You have to observe the situation closely. You have to review it carefully, reflect on it. So that is called reviewing, reflecting on the experience. What happened today? Why did this happen? Why were the students finding it difficult to answer? Now, how is students late coming to the school affecting their study? You're reflecting, asking questions, reflective questions, thinking deeply about it. All right, that is the learning. You think deeply about what has happened. And then third stage is called abstract conceptualization. You try to understand it much better. You try to conceptualize it. That's abstract. From concrete experience, you are moving on to abstract learning, abstract conceptualization. Understand it better, open up your eyes, look at it from different points of view, right? And learn from your experience. So it's not just having an experience, it's not just having 10 years of teaching experience or 15 years of experience in teaching. What have you learned from your experience? That is important. What has this 10 years of teaching taught you? How have you grown? What insights have you gained? How did you change your practices? So that happens if you follow these stages. You do something, then you reflect on it, whether it is successful or not. If successful, okay, what else can I do? How can I still make it more successful? If it is not successful, why? How can I make it better next time? And then go and read something about it. You can go to Google and type, for example, students are not able to answer in mother tongue. Students are not able to speak in English, not able to answer in English, or students are not interested in reading. You understand that students are struggling to read in class 8, class 9. Then just Google how to develop reading skills at the secondary level, at the high school level, how to teach reading, how to make reading classes more effective. What are the effective reading techniques? You can Google, you'll get lots of ideas. Or you can discuss with other colleagues. Talk to other colleagues, other teachers of English. Ask them to give you some feedback, share their experiences. So learning from many different sources, learning from books, learning from journals, you can read other research studies, learning from colleagues, learning from higher officers, maybe talking to them, trying to address the problem. So that is third stage, understanding it from multiple points of view, not only looking at the problem from your point of view. And then, see, for example, students are not able to answer, then maybe scolding the students, that will not help, right? After the officer leaves the school, if you scold students, how does it help? You will not be able to solve the problem. So you have to tackle it in a different way, right? And the fourth stage is called active experimentation. So you get a concrete experience, you reflect on it, ask questions to yourself, then you try to learn something from that experience. You go read about it, talk about it with parents, with your headmaster, headmistresses, principals, with students themselves, go and talk to them, understand their problems, right? Okay, and then make some changes. Active experimentation is preparing a different kind of action plan, going back to the classroom with different set of activities, planning something different, trying out what you have learned. You have learned something here, you go and experiment it. Do something different in the classroom, innovate, experiment, and then see whether it is leading you to success or not, right? Go with an action plan. In another 1 month's time, I want to address it. I want to solve this problem. Keep doing activities and then wait for the result. How is it helping students? Is there any improvement? So that's called professional learning cycle, right? So whenever certain things happen, you need to reflect on it rather than make judgment. So many a time what we do is we make conclusions, we arrive at judgments, right? Instead, you should try to analyze it critically. And then you should, yes, for example, see if you have problems like this in your classrooms. All the students in class 7 can read textbook lessons properly, but they cannot read any passage outside the textbook. Is this an issue that you are facing in your classrooms? Your students can read textbook lessons, but they cannot read unseen passages, unseen stories, for example, unfamiliar texts in English. Do you have such problems in your classrooms? Yes or no?
No, sir.
No? Yes. They are able to read. They are able to read.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All your students are able to read all the text.
No, sir. Majority of the students can read that.
No, sir.
Majority of the students.
That's right. Majority of them can read, I think, textbook lessons and poems. But give them an NCERT textbook, for example. You can mute your microphone. Yeah. Same class 7, your state textbook, maybe they are able to read. Same class, give them NCERT textbook, or give them a Cambridge or Oxford reader, English reader. Same class, same level. Will they be able to read, understand, and answer those questions, do those activities? You'll have to think about it. So if it is only textbook lessons that they are able to read, not lessons or passages of the same level from another source, then there is a problem. That is not, which means they have not developed real reading skill. Okay. And for example, second one, my students hesitate to speak in English. They always answer in their mother tongue. Is that an issue in your classroom? Do your students hesitate to speak in English?
Always a big issue, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what is the solution? What is the solution? Are there any ready-made solutions?
No, sir. Simply exposure.
Yes. So what is the solution? If they're hesitating to speak in English, what can we do?
We have to create inevitability among them, sir. Whether they speak in grammatical way or non-grammatical way, we have to push them, and we have to allow them to say what they wanted to say in English only. Or we should not curb them, or we should not scold them, or we should not mock at them, sir.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yes.
Sir, I made a small experiment in my classroom, sir.
Yeah.
I make the students to speak for 1 minute of their choice every day.
Very
5 to 10 students a day, 1 minute program. It may be about their family. In the initial stages, I have given the fixed frame sentences. My father, my brother, my sister, and so on. At least students have a confidence to say something in English. So all errors are accepted. All grammatical errors are accepted, and let them speak first. So in such a situation, I got some positive results.
Good. Excellent. Excellent. Now my question is, that is Ravindra Babu, right? Wait. Ravindra Babu. Yeah. You've done very well. All right. I'm so happy with that. Now my question as a researcher is, if I am the researcher, what I'll ask you is, you've done all this, you've done 1 minute activities, they have improved. Now the question is, how do I know? Where is the evidence? Is there any data that you can show me to say that they have improved their speaking?
Yes, sir. I have some 1 or 2 videos, sir. So when they are speaking, I have recorded their voice, sir, and it is there.
Excellent. Very good.
I'll show you.
Very good. So the point is, we are doing lots of things actually, but we don't know sometimes the impact of those activities. How is it helping students? How are they improving? What is the real improvement made? All right. So if you're able to analyze that, if you're able to collect videos like this, good, I'm happy you have recorded, you've got 1 or 2 videos, but 1 or 2 is not enough for analysis purpose. All right. There's a very small amount of data. You should have larger amount of data, and then you should watch these videos, analyze their performance. That is doing something systematically. I don't know whether you will have time for this or not, but you should. If you're a researcher, you should buy some time. So the moment you have problems like this, one thing you have to do is take time. Don't do anything right now. Take time to understand it better. So immediately the second one, for my students hesitate to speak in English. If somebody says this, my question would be, how do you know? How do you know your students hesitate to speak in English? Maybe it is your assumption. Maybe they can speak in English. Maybe they're not given opportunities, right? So my question is, how do you know? Is there any evidence? Is there any data to say that they're hesitating to speak in English? And my next question is, how many students hesitate to speak in English? If you have 40 students, are all the 40 hesitating? Or is it a small group? Or is it the majority of them? As a researcher, I would be interested to know these things. So that is the kind of data you should collect. And then you should do it systematically. Now, yeah, 1 minute activity, I'm glad you said it. Do it, yeah, that is one thing you can do, but does it alone help? Just allowing them to speak for 1 minute, is that enough? Or do we need to do something different, something more, create an English atmosphere, right? How can we integrate all this into a regular classroom teaching, learning? Do we have to take extra time for that, right? You have to do it scientifically, with evidence, systematically, by documenting, by collecting, analyzing data. That is research. So you have to develop these research skills, right? So if you've done it very, very systematically, if you can show me the improvement made over a period of 2 months, 3 months, for example, then I'm convinced. Excellent, I'll say excellent, yes, you're a researcher. Otherwise, as teachers, we all do activities. We do many different things. But if you're a teacher researcher, then you will do it in a reflective manner. You'll keep reflecting, you'll keep analyzing, you'll keep asking questions to yourself, and then you'll have some evidence to show, some data for interpretation, for analysis, and then you will come out with your own findings, recommendations, right? So that's what I want you all to do actually, right? Yeah. So the next, for example, some teachers who have done classroom research studies in the previous batches, for example, this is what they have said. Okay, so first is, so what I will do is, I think it's, so this is first thing you have to do is, yes, I'll just give some examples here. This is from my previous batch of teachers. So some teachers, they said their students are reluctant to speak in English. And as part of classroom-based research, what they've done is, they spoke to their students. They've tried to understand the problem from students' point of view. And then they met students, they collected data from students, and in the analysis part, this is what they have said. Looking at the problem from students' point of view. So students said, most of the students are aware that it is important to speak in English, but they have hesitation to speak in English. So they know it's important to speak in English, but they are hesitant. And they want to improve their speaking skills by participating in activities such as songs, games, puzzles. See, look at that, their choice. They like these activities. Maybe if you do other things, maybe they're not. See, what are their areas of interest? You have to find out by talking to them, right? So students say they're interested in activities such as songs, games, puzzles, exercises, debates, vocabulary activities. So if they say we are interested in this, maybe you should do those activities, right? Rather than doing something different. And students feel nervous, insecure, and are not confident because they do not have a proper or accurate command of the language. And the pronunciation, grammar structures. So they're nervous because the language itself is frightening, right? They don't have mastery. They lack many skills. So most of them said they get nervous, feel embarrassed when speaking because they're afraid of making mistakes and they think their classmates will laugh at their errors. So look at that. They're conscious of their mistakes. They think others might make fun of them. That's why they don't open up. Yeah. So you will understand the problem not from your own point of view. You will understand it from students' point of view. What are their struggles? What are their difficulties? What are their likes and dislikes? So this is classroom research where you involve students in your research activity. And the same teacher, for example, spoke to other teachers. As part of this classroom-based research, the teachers collected data from other teachers. So what do other teachers have to say about students' speaking skills? The teacher collected data from teachers belonging to the same group, CLT group, for example. And other teachers said, there is no English atmosphere in our school and lack of opportunities to speak in English. Students lack opportunities to speak in English. The only chance for them to listen to and speak in English is the English class. In this 40-minute class, that's the only chance they get. How can they improve their speaking? So maybe 40 minutes is not enough. This is what other teachers were feeling. So instead of focusing only on reading and writing, teachers should also conduct listening and speaking activities. Spoken skills are neglected in the classrooms. right? So this is, maybe we are focusing more on reading and writing, not much on listening and speaking. Maybe that is one reason. Teachers are not encouraging them to talk further when they attempt to speak in broken English. See, teachers themselves said this. We don't encourage them when they speak in broken English. We interrupt them, stop them in the middle. And then students who speak poorly are often neglected by teachers. What do you think? It may be true in your case or may not be true, but this is what teachers said. We neglect slow learners many a time. Students are not getting opportunity to speak English outside their classroom, not in the school, not at home, right? No opportunities, no atmosphere. There are not enough child-friendly English books in our library. So speaking is not just speaking, right? How will they speak if they don't have enough words? If they're not able to construct sentences, they have to read a lot. So there are not enough child-friendly books in our library, no stories, no children's magazines. So how can we expect them to speak, right? So these are some of the opinions of teachers of English. So you're looking at the problem from teacher's point of view as well. So this is called exploration. You're exploring the problem, understanding the problem from multiple points of view, from different stakeholders' perspectives. So you get a better picture of the problem, right? So that is called, this is actually called teacher research, all right? Teacher research. One of the definitions of teacher research is research initiated and carried out by teachers into issues of importance to them in their own work. So this research is carried out by teachers. And what are the topics for their research? Topics of their concern, all right? Issues of importance to you in your workplace. I am not forcing topics on you. I'm not suggesting research topics for you. You have to find out genuine classroom issues, classroom problems, and you have to initiate it. You have to carry it out. All right. So research done by teachers into issues which concern them. It should be a real concern for you, not doing something for the sake of it. You're doing something with a genuine concern because you want to address it. You want to find remedies, right? So there is a genuine concern, passion about it. And another definition of teacher research is this: addressing questions that arise from your practice by gathering data, analyzing it, and sharing what you find. All right, teacher research or classroom research is addressing questions that arise from your practice. So research questions that arise from your classroom, from your practice. And how do you address it? By gathering data, and then by analyzing it, and then by sharing your findings. So teacher is at the center here, all right? In teacher research, teacher is at the center. You're doing it so that you can improve your teaching, you can improve your students' learning, and you can bring real changes in your classrooms. So I'll discuss more about it in the next class. Now what we will do is I want all of you to identify some genuine classroom concerns. What are your classroom concerns? Classroom? Yes, please.
Sir, one submission, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, could we able to get specific tools or framed materials to conduct classroom research to energize our professional aspects, sir?
Yes, yes, yes. You will get it. You will get it. And you all should also do a similar study. You should take up a small study and do classroom-based research. All right. That's the purpose of this training. I can share a number of other studies as well to energize you, all right, to motivate you. We'll do that. So your task for today is, I'm going to conclude by giving you a small task. What you should do is identify your classroom problems. You can make a list of classroom problems. Select the most significant one.
Could you repeat, please, sir?
Yes, you have to. You can list down important classroom issues, challenges, difficulties you face. Make a list, right? And then rank order them, prioritize them. Which issues are more important, not so important? Which issues can be taken up later? All right, and then zero in on one significant problem, one major problem you want to take up this year for your classroom research study. Right, I want all of you to make a short list of maybe 10 problems, then narrow down into 5, and then zero in on one classroom problem which you can take up for your study. And in the next class, you have to present your classroom problem in the form of a statement. For example, in 9th standard, my students are struggling to read words and sentences in English. If you think it's a major problem, then you have to write it as a statement. All right? The problem as a statement, maybe with a number of students, how many of them, or just a statement, write a problem statement. That's your home task. And then if possible, frame some research questions related to the problem statement. Why, for example, why do students face difficulties in reading? How many of them are struggling to read in English? What activities can I do to improve their reading? What do other teachers think about it? 3 or 4 questions related to the classroom problem. And for these research questions, you should be able to collect answers, collect data related to your research questions. So that's your home task for today. Identify a genuine classroom problem which you want to address, and then related to the problem, frame 3 or 4 questions, research questions, for which you should collect answers or data.